Meet on Thursday night. Okay, 30. After the class. Thank you. Who's my favorite size group of folks? Good? Every chair, that's it. Not too many, not too many. My name is Amy Jackson. I work here at the Chamber. Thank you for coming to Smart Series 2 days in a row. I like it. First, I want to introduce Sarah from Mission Health, a presenting sponsor for business. Smart Series business after hours tomorrow. A presenting sponsor for Smart Series.
Hey, I'm Sarah Lewis Wallace. I'm the Community Engagement Manager for Mission Health. And I'm so happy to be here every month. And we're so happy to support this endeavor to learn all kinds of different things every month. And our DEI Director, Naima Syed, will be speaking next month.
Yep. Thank you. Yeah, we're excited for you to come. Yes, so thank you. Also, I want to introduce Marlowe Weingart to do her thing. Fair enough?
Oh, that's fine. So, welcome everybody. It is nice to have this size crowd.
I got you.
But it's nice to have this size crowd. For those of you that, well, probably most of you don't know, my background is in education. I spent 25 years in education and about half of those in the classroom. So having this size crowd for me it really gets my juices going. So hopefully I will do the same for you. Most of you should have my information. You'll also have an opportunity to get it at the end. Have a QR code just to make it easy for you. And if I can answer any questions for you, if there's anything that I can do to help any of you, I'm a really big believer in what the Chamber does here. And I'm a big believer in the power of networking and helping one another, because it certainly helped me. So if I can do the same for you, please let me. So welcome everybody. This Smart Series is check yourself before you wreck yourself. Are you showing up as your best self at work? And I had to give a shout out to my man Ice Cube for inspiration for this workshop.
You were asking.
She has these little guys in her little ugly heads in her office. So just a few things about me. My name is Marlowe Weingart. My company is Humane Resourcing. It is a proudly woman-owned company, and we are on a mission to put the humanity back into human capital. I'm an employee engagement and team building specialist and trainer with over 25 years of experience. And my Sprout with Success executive and business coaching shows you how to level up when you show up. I'm an ICF certified coach, which if you are not familiar, that's the International Coaching Federation, and they are considered the gold standard in coaching. I'm also finishing up my master's in organizational learning, and I have over 25 years in mentoring, coaching, and team engagement experience. So I'm really glad to be here today, and hopefully I can at least help you get the ball rolling in terms of your own engagement or your staff.
Or make you more likable.
That's right. That's right. Absolutely. So my goal in life is let's bring happiness back to work. Okay. All right. So how do I increase engagement at work? So does anyone want to take a guess? Gallup, some of you are familiar with Gallup. They're very well known for taking polls. They did a poll in 2020 to find out how many employees were engaged at work. Does anyone want to take a guess at how many US employees were engaged at work? Anyone?
30%.
30?
I'm gonna throw them.
40%. Ready? Anybody else? Okay. All right. So we
Nobody
got
answered. the
somewhere
survey.
between 20 and 40. Let's see who's right. You guys want to we lay odds? Oh, 36%. Globally, only 20% employees are engaged.
Wow.
So the big question is then, what does engaged mean? Does anyone have an idea? What does engaged employee mean to you?
Interaction.
Interaction, okay. What else?
Challenging.
Challenging. They are challenging?
They're challenged.
They are challenged. Okay.
They are challenging.
Hope not.
Actually
So-
believing in the values,
I'm sorry, repeat that.
actually believing in the values.
Okay, yes, believing in the value and the mission of the company. What else?
Invested.
Proactive. Somebody else said that, right?
Invested. What's that? Invested.
Invested. Nice. All right. So according to the Harvard Business Review, or the HBR, for those of you that are in the know, being an engaged employee means that you have greater productivity, you are more dedicated to your work quality, you are safety conscious, and you actually want to be there. So basically what all of you said, so that's good. You know what engagement looks like. So why does engagement matter? Why does it matter?
Well, happy employees do it.
Okay. So happy employees do a better job. Any other thoughts?
People stay at the workplace longer.
People stay at their workplace longer.
Goes with the mission of the company, makes the company more valuable.
Makes the company more valuable. And goes with
Innovation.
innovation happens.
That's a good one.
All right, I like these. So Forbes, another extremely reputable source, is that most successful organizations make employee engagement a cornerstone in their business strategy. And I'm sure you know that Forbes is the one that comes out with the ranking systems of the top companies in the world. They say that engagement is the cornerstone in companies that have a successful business strategy. Teams who score in the top 20% in engagement also had a 41% reduction in absenteeism and 59% less turnover. So I see some of you that, yep, you knew that. But of course, why you're here today is what can I do? So according to Forbes, engagement and wellness are inseparable. And I didn't hear anybody mention that. So hopefully this is a new idea, or at least putting some pieces together for you. So part of engagement is wellness. And wellness includes a healthy self-awareness. That breaks down into two different areas. One is self-awareness about what you want and what you don't want. And being able to communicate that with your colleagues. The other piece, which some of you may recall during COVID, a lot of people struggled with this. 50 to 60% of how we perceive what we're hearing is based on body language. So you may be aware of others' body language, but how aware are you of your own body language? So what we're going to do is I'm going to ask, let me just go ahead and ask this. Don't look at anybody yet. I'm going to ask that you pair up and I'm going to have you do an activity involving body language. Okay, not going to have to touch anybody's body. So I'm going to give you these little cards and you One of you is going to be acting out an emotion. Okay, you are going to be showing with your body how you're feeling in this scenario. Now, it's not as hard as you think, okay? All of them start with the same thing. It says using only body language, show your partner you are, and you don't say what it is, okay? What you're gonna do is there's a dash and then it says, and I'll just use this one as an example. It's your birthday and your family forgot. So you have read the scenario and now you're gonna act out what that feeling is that's on this card, okay? So you only have to read the last part. It's your birthday and your family forgot. And then the other person's gonna look at you and you're gonna, only using your body, show the emotion. And they have to guess it, okay? I know some of your type A personalities in here, don't kill yourself with this, okay? It's just a game. So, if you do it right or wrong, just have fun with it, all right? And we'll see how well you do with body language, okay? So go ahead and pair up. When you have a pair, I will give you a card.
Let's do it.
Yeah, you want to take it on?
You want to add that?
Yes,
You
you
ready?
are. I haven't done it. Are you sure? Yeah, you can read it.
Yeah, right. Wait a minute. But they do. Yeah. That is nice. Yeah.
Yourself a little hand. You have body language, so that's great. So how does this work at work? Well, I talked to this pairing right here, and they were talking about a negative or a less positive conversation, and someone was doing a thing with their hair. And so how does this work at work? It's a very good question, but that's a great example. So these are 5 rules for communicating what you want. And as you can tell, I love music because the title is Tell them what you want, what you really, really want. Help myself.
No.
So what we're going to do is we're going to do another activity. I'm going to give you another scenario. You can get a new partner if you want to and stretch your box a little bit. Okay. But what you're going to do is you're going to have one person who is going to be asking for something, and you're going to have another person who is also asking for something. Okay. So these scenarios might be a couple trying to decide where they want to go out to eat that night. Okay. So one of them has heartburn. The other one is sick of the restaurant that the first one has proposed. So how do you use these rules? So don't assume that they are thinking what you think they are thinking. Ask questions. 2, be bold, be clear, but be nice. Ask for what you want, when you want it, and don't dilute it. In my experience, women often struggle with this, or people that identify as women often struggle with this. It's challenging, and a lot of times emails, clients that I work with, the emails they send me, I'll say, look, tell me what you sent to your boss. And they'll tell me, and I'll say, I have no idea what you asked for. Did you even ask for anything? Okay, so tell them, be bold, be clear, but be nice. You can start off, hi, how are you? Hope you're having a good day, or have a great day at the end, unless it was like, I hate you and have a great day. Tell them what you won't tolerate. Be clear and be specific. Okay, so I need to have this by Wednesday. I won't tolerate it on Thursday. It can't happen on Thursday. Stop being a martyr. If they ask for more, you ask for more. You're entitled. Everything is a negotiation. Keep asking for what you want, even if you get a no. Now, we're talking in terms of in the workplace, but there may be practical solutions in this also. Remember, it doesn't matter how many no's you get as long as you get a yes. So we'll see how you do with that. So tell them what you want, what you really, really want. I'm going to, again, if you want to pair up and you have characters and the scenario, and you both are going to take your perspective. Okay. So again, it's going to be very clear. There are 2 people and the scenario is right here, and you're going to negotiate using these 5 rules to get what you want. Okay. And just have fun with this. Again, type A's. There's no right or wrong. I had an experience that many of you just let go and just went with that. So keep playing along with this. Practice it. Go outside of your comfort zone. And if your comfort zone is to be very clear and very succinct, maybe soften it up a little. Don't forget the nice part. Okay. All right. So I'm going to give you 5 minutes. Does anyone want to switch partners? Go ahead and do that. Okay.
I was gonna give you Brian.
Oh, yeah. Good. Well, I'm gonna go over.
Yes, you obviously.
So,
Yeah, look at this, right? No.
So.
Good after.
She doesn't want you to be. And yeah, it's. Did you? Okay. At that.
Okay.
Yes, that would be clear enough.
Right on, Russ.
No, It's really easy.
Time. Back on this one, and this is gonna, I think this is a great launching point into the next piece.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, absolutely.
Can you expand on this? Stop being a martyr. If they ask for more, you ask for more. Kind of an example of in the workplace or something like that.
Is there anybody that did this or found this to be part of your personality in these scenarios? Does anybody want to share any insights that you've had with people you've worked with, or where you yourself have found yourself being a martyr?
I personally would say, I think I've worked for a company, really large company, and they would ask for like, not just to do my job, but to do jobs for like people above me and under me. And, without raising my pay, like I would have to take on, if somebody left the company, I would have to take on their role and my role, put it all together. But my pay would stay the same. I was having to work more hours, do more work, but I wouldn't get an increase in pay.
So I'm sure some of you have heard that silent quitting term, right? Which goes right along with that. Yes, ma'am.
I find that the clients I do the most for seem to appreciate it the least and just want more and more and more. So I'm probably not very good about saying, hold on. I'm just like, oh, 15 more days and they'll be closed and I can move on.
Right, right, exactly.
But I think if you do acquiesce, you know, that just starts this whole.
It doesn't do you any favors ultimately.
Right.
So looking at your motives, I think is a really important part in this. And again, if you can maintain your professionalism and continue to be nice, but you get the job done, the question is, what do they want? Do they want to be friends and hang out? Or do they want to close on their house? So, yeah.
There's one example I came across before. When to identify when something more is like, it's gonna make a big impact for them, that's not a big deal for me, versus something that is a big ask and make, you know, it's hard to do. Somebody used the analogy of like, you're going to deli, you get a sandwich and you just want a side of pickle. Like, give them a pickle, like, it's gonna make their experience at your establishment better. But it's just, you know, it doesn't come with it, whatever, it's pickle.
Right.
Versus, hey, I want you to comp my whole meal because this, you know, wasn't up to my expectation, but I ate 3/4, you know?
Right.
Like, identifying what are the things that they ask for that you can give them that aren't a big deal.
Absolutely. That's a great tip. Good. Okay. So the next piece we're going to talk about, which is part of self-awareness, and I was talking about this with this team right here, is belonging. Harvard Business Review reports that companies with greater gender and ethnic diversity consistently outperform their competitors. Inclusion and creating a sense of belonging in the workplace increases engagement and your potential customer base. Now, I just read this recently in the Harvard Business Review, and I'll have all my citations at the end because I'm in grad school and that's what we do. And your potential customer base, I thought this was a really interesting, perspective on this. Because I think almost all of us here, if you're here, you're paying attention to what's going on in the world for the most part. I think everybody knows inclusion and making everybody feel like they belong is important. The question is how often do you go that extra piece and say, if I have this, I will bring more of this in my customer base. They'll trust me more because they'll know that my employees are engaged and they're happy to be there. They'll see that I'm not just saying blah, 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 blah. Yeah, that's what we do here. You know, you can hire women in different colors of people, but if they don't feel included, if they don't feel like they're important, it's really a completely useless exercise. And people can sense that work with you. And in a way, this is a little controversial, but if a company is doing that, in my experience, it's almost more harmful than if they just keep the status quo.
Can I add something to that?
Yes,
An
please.
experience that I've had? I'm Mexican, I'm fluent in Spanish. And I have had actually someone within the company, like, if I have customers coming in and they speak both languages, but their main language is Spanish, then they feel more comfortable speaking to me directly in Spanish because they know I speak Spanish. But everybody else around us only speaks English. So then I've been told that the people that don't understand what we're saying feel left out. But that is my way of building my relationship with that customer and with every other customer that speaks Spanish. And that's how I get, relationships that, I've had customers call me every company that I work for. And same thing with employees, because you don't force them to speak a language that is already hard enough for them. And you build that trust.
Great example. Yes.
I have a comment to that. Thank you for doing that, and that's their problem. You keep doing what you're doing.
Okay. So before we go on, I have one last scenario for us to do. On the heels of what you just heard, hopefully it's got you thinking a little bit. On the heels of the two scenarios that we've done before, I now have legitimate scenarios here, okay? These are real scenarios from different workplaces that I've worked with or people that I know that I've worked with. Obviously, there's no names here. Again, you're each going to take a side. Use the same things we've talked about. Be aware of your body language. Pay attention to their body language. Focus on asking for what you want, what you really, really want. Take yourself through those same exercises. It was all fun, but now we're doing something that's a little more legitimate, a little more applicable to your lives and your work. So notice in yourself if you change, you shift. Suddenly you're more defensive or offensive. Okay, these may be things that go back to that healthy self-awareness. Again, if you're here today, hopefully, if you take nothing else away with you, you take that. Okay, so two people, a real situation. And one thing that I saw is a lot of you went ahead and you applied whatever you learned from that scenario to something that you actually had an experience with. Feel free to do that, but start with this scenario and see where it takes you. Okay, any questions? All right.
Both read it.
Yes, both of you read it.
I know, but it is.
All right.
Let's see how it works.
Good documents.
It could be. To give you a little more time on this. Yeah, notice the energy. You guys notice that? Interesting. So there's like. I'm pulling out a little bit of.
Is this a active out?
Yeah.
Okay.
And. I want to see how.
Who is it? You got to figure it out.
Yeah, that's. Seeing a branch and that.
That is.
That's, you know, just from the house right here.
It has been. So. Please give me that. Oh. It just wants to be. They don't want- So tell me how, how's the way, how's the whole AI progress? Waters. That's one.
Yes. Yeah. Then they call
So like. By molecular information. That's kind of what it's like.
You do your job. Just do your job.
Yeah, like still anything, you know, just like.
Please, yeah, you'll be done. Nice and
And sometimes I get all told next week, the day prior, the next day.
We did.
So. That experience, that practice.
Actually. I hate that too. For the speaking. So be clear about what you want. As a listener, I would want to know. Yeah.
My job.
Yeah. Right.
But, you know, that's. But am I trying to be faster, like being a martyr, like it's like, have early and be the nuance.
Yeah, so like I didn't want to take it forward to the.
Right.
Yeah.
I still do that.
Yeah.
That.
So my experience as I walked around and listened to many of you, I know that these scenarios may not fit your work exactly. But what I did hear from many of you is that some of the nuances from the asking for what you want definitely came into play. You had some awareness around that. I heard some of you saying, I had to keep asking questions. I wasn't sure what they wanted exactly. So can you keep that in mind when you go back to work today? Be bold, be clear, but be nice. I heard some of you talking about, and it goes back to your point, you know, this is my purview. I don't understand why you want more from me. Leave me alone, right? Fair enough, right? But it's the job of that other person to help the other one to understand, what is it that you want? People can't help if they don't know what you want. So that's where that concise piece comes in, and telling them what you won't tolerate. Some of you were in the supervisor or the leadership position. You had to say, no, we can't do that. We don't have the money for it. But let's brainstorm. What can we do outside of that box? Because we all know that a lot of times that's what it comes down to. But there are always options if people put their minds to it. I heard form a committee with leadership and with the people that are involved in the situation. I heard compromise from the supervisor and the employee. So, and stop being a martyr. I don't know if anybody caught themselves going into that. Oh, I'm tired. I don't want to fight about this. I get that, but does that really serve you well in this situation? Are you giving too much? Why are you giving too much? These are all questions that are of value. So we're gonna debrief. If you choose to, you can write about this. Sometimes journaling is a really great way to sort of finalize something for yourself, or you can talk it out with your partner. Just choose one and check yourself, okay? So what specific scenarios in my life might be a good place to practice healthy self-awareness and communicating what I want? When was the last time I wrecked myself? Can I reimagine it with a positive outcome? How can I check myself to be sure I'm practicing wellness and self-awareness in my workplace? Okay. So just choose one of those and have a quick conversation internally if you want to write about it, or with your partner. Just pick one. You don't have to pick the same one to talk about. You take a minute just to think about it. Okay.
Marlowe, can you just expand a little bit on wreck myself?
That was the title of the workshop, but a piece of this is taking ownership, recognizing when, if it's not in your behavior, maybe it's in how you're looking at things needs to shift. Is there room for a shift in perceptions? And if it's a behavioral thing, what can you do? Should you do anything? What would that look like? Okay. So I'm just going to give you about 5 minutes to do this. Any other questions? All right.
So I guess I have like a combo of two ends. But then in my role at Mission, I'm a rule of career, and I come from the fundraising, and now in my right.
Although this is a self-group. I don't know what I want.
But like those very corporate roles and are very important. And before I left the nonprofit world, I envisioned that I had I guess less kind of not be self-giving. But a lot of y'all know, I'm happy like I think like I had and I didn't feel good at like the interviews I was that was my end. I've been down there.
Yeah.
Like, it's not interesting. Yeah, it's kind of like separate careers. Like when it's hard to go down. I don't know. What I really like is when I'm like,
thing that I like, and now I know what me, I just wonder anything like that. So coming from that.
Yeah. I don't like it. Yeah. Yeah. Very self. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, it's like, I need to. Like, like I have to be a little further. And like probably why oh, like I wasn't on like education. I was like like that. I typed up very nice, but so oh. My Google page.
Fun. Gives you an idea of what I do as a trainer and a deliverer of professional development. I can take any content and make it work within whatever parameters that you need. I like to make training fun, and I like to make sure that everybody actually gets what they need to out of it. Training and learning should never be boring, in my opinion, and it never will be in my purview. So also, if you do post on my Google page, you earn yourself one complimentary half hour of coaching in my Sprout with Success model, and I can help you level up how you show up. And I do have some idea now. I've listened to all of you. I have some idea. We're not just starting from completely blank. I have an idea of who you are and how you show up. So that gives us a big advantage. So hopefully I will see you again. And besides my card, I also have another QR code. If you want to contact me, just scan the QR code, takes you right to my social contact information, or you can just old-fashioned email me or call me. I want to thank all of you. I want to thank the chamber. You all were so engaged, and you seem to be so self-aware. It's very inspiring for me to think that you're going to go out into the world and help create more positive workplaces. That can only be a good thing. Thank you.
Thank you, Marlowe, that was super fun and engaging. Thank you for your part of that. Thank you, Sarah and Mission for presenting sponsorship. Thank you to all of you for showing up. Makes it work when you show up. I hope you have an awesome afternoon. If we can do anything for you, let us know. Thank you. You all.